In this video, we're going to see another example of using recursion to solve a problem. But in particular, we're going to use a problem on strings, which will be helpful because your classwork for today uses strings as well. So just as a review, when we solve a problem recursively, we are going to define a function that calls itself, and we're going to break up our problem into a simple case, we could call that the base case, and other cases called recursive cases, where we can redefine our problem to be closer to the simple case that we're trying to move toward. So the problem that we're going to work on comes from the book. So I'm just going to open up this file called count occurrences. And so our goal here is to count the occurrences of some letter that we're going to get from the user in some string that we get from the user. So for example, I might get the string, the dog jumped over the cat, and let's say my letter was T. So maybe I'll even put it in single quotes to really drive home. It's just a single character. Oops, what am I doing? Single quotes. There we go. So now my goal for this, if I was given this input, I would want to count, okay, there's one T, and there's another T, and there's another T, so I would want to get count is 3, right? Hopefully that's right. We can check it once we get our program working. So I have a program here that's partly written, but we're going to need to fill in the rest. So we want to define a function called count that will count, so given character ch and string str, count occurrences of ch in str, right? So we're going to need to define that. We call it inside our main, where we've defined a string called str that's going to have up to 79 characters, right? We have that last one reserved for the end of line character, or not end of line, end of string character. We also have, we're calling our target, that target character that we're going to count. And then this is just declaring the variable that we're going to actually assign to be that count, so we can print it out. So we're going to ask the user to give us a string of up to 79 characters. We're using gets, which will strip off a new line for us. And then in gets, we just pass the string that we want to assign that value to, so that's str. Then we're asking the user for the character they want to count, and we're assigning that value to target, so we've got to pass in the address of target. Then we're going to call our function on our target in our string, and then we'll print it out, hopefully in a nice manner. So our job is to fill this in. So maybe I'll just come up here, I'll copy my prototype, and I'll work from there. So I want to do this recursively. And so what is the idea here? Maybe let me grab my example up here and put it down here, and so that we can think about how we would do this. So say that I am given this example and I want to count the number of T's. So one thing I could do is I could say, okay, well, this string is super long, but if I just take a look at one letter, decide whether that is a T, and then count the number of T's in the rest, then that's how I can do this recursively. So I could think of, if I've got nothing, if my string is empty, then I definitely have nothing, but then I can count what's in the rest. So let's see. I guess I could say, like, my first, basically the approach is going to be, is first letter a T? I guess check if first letter is a T, then run count on everything else. So everything after the first letter. So the first time, my first call, I'd check, is this first T a T? Well, yes it is. And now I need to count the number of T's in the rest of the string. So in that case, so my base case, what do I know is really easy? Well, I know that I want to stop when I get to the end of the string, right? And I don't have any way other than, I don't have any way to know that I'm at the end of the string. No. So if I am given an empty string, then I should say, no matter what the character is, I should have 0, right? So if, and how do I check that I'm at the end of string? Okay, also, I guess I need a answer to return, just like we saw in the factorial. So this is the count. So if I'm at the end of the string, so how do I check for that? So my string is str. If I'm at the end, then I can check for that by saying if the first character of my string is the end of string character, which I can represent in this way, then I need to do something. And the thing I need to do is I need to set answer to 0, right? There are 0 occurrences of my character if I'm down to just the end of the string. In any other case, I want to check if first letter is equal to character, and then recurse, meaning call count on what's left. And again, that's just my else. So in any other case, then let's do this. So I want to check if my first letter is equal to ch, so string again at 0. But now I need to check that it's equal to my target, my character ch. Then I'm going to do something. And what should I do? Well, in that case, I need to, I guess this is maybe not the most descriptive. So if it is equal, then my answer should be certainly one more than however many are in what's left, right? So how do I count on what's left? Well, if we remember that our strings, which are arrays of characters, are just pointers, I can, if I give a pointer to the index 1 element, I have now passed in a string that starts at index 1. So I want to count, let's see, my first thing is my character, so I want to keep counting the same character, but then the string that I want to pass in is a pointer to string at 1, right? And if I want, so we remember that when I use these square brackets, I get the value, but I want a pointer. And so just like we've seen before, if I want a pointer to that, I can use address of. So this is what I do if, so say like in this T case, and if, but let's say I already did that and now I'm on to, now I've gotten this string starting with an H. So what happens if I check that first one and it's not a T, not a character that I'm looking for? Well, in that case, I just want to count, again, I just don't want to add one to my count. So I can call the same thing, but I just don't want to add one. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. So again, I just pass in a pointer to the next thing in my string. And it looks like I got some weirdness here with my spacing. So I'm just gonna make it nicer. Okay, so this I think should work for us. So let's try compiling it. Count occurrences. And okay. Oh, we forgot to return answer. By we, I mean me. Return answer. What's happening? Oh, it doesn't like gets, which is fair. Okay, so now all I have is my warning about gets. And let me run this. What did I call it? Oh, I'm gonna take out that dash because it's kind of weird. I wonder if it's gonna let me do this. Well, I'm just not gonna worry about it. Okay, let's enter up to 79 characters. So I said the dog jumped over the cat, and I want to count T's, and it looks like it worked. So that is an example of how we can use recursion. Let me get back in to count the occurrences of a letter in a string by calling count again and again. We assume we have this, we kind of assume we have this machine that counts how many, say, T's are in any string. Well, then all I need to do is check my first letter and then count what's left. Then I check my first letter, I count what's left. I check my third letter, I count what's left. And so that's how this is working. So that is our example, and I hope that that helps when working on classwork for today.